Hello everyone and welcome back to the GCM Racing build bench here. We've got a new build here I want to go over with you guys. As you know, we've been working really hard on the Skeleton J2 chassis, and you've seen this truck in a bunch of videos and setups, and we just put together a brand new one here on a yellow body, and this would be our Class 1 build. We hope to run this truck at the East Coast Scale Challenge in August 2014. That's put on by RC 4-Wheel Drive and many other great RC sponsors. And I want to go over this rig with you today and just show you what we've done here to get this thing assembled and how we got everything mounted up. And this is a great running little rig. Unfortunately for us up here in the north, we've still got a whole bunch of snow on the ground, so we're going to have to wait until we get some warmer weather so we can get this thing out on the rocks and find out what's going on. But for now, very happy with the rig and how it's handling. We've got lots of hard packed ground out here for us to do a scale run with it. And you should be seeing a video of that coming up pretty soon. So first of all, I want to tell you what kind of equipment we've got in this rig. The first thing you'll notice here, of course, is the two-door hard body. This is a really high detail body from... We got this from RC Toy World on eBay, and for those of you who have ever used them, you already know that the shipping is rocket fast. And we got this body shipped from direct from China. I think it came here to my shop in Canada in 7 days, so that's just, to me, that's a record. And very well packaged. The guy had even put like a bubble wrap around the mirrors and stuff just to make sure it was all protected. So another part of the body feature we're using is these RC 4-Wheel Drive bumpers. You guys have seen this on many a Jeep, and of course this is their solid aluminum part with the welded steel tire bracket on it. We opted to stick the original Goodyear phony tire here on the back because it just suits the look of the truck so well. And of course the high mount lamp is still there, and it's a swing away, so we've got lots of scale accessory there. And of course we're using this fantastic Rampage bumper in the front. It just so happens that I have this the RC 4-Wheel Drive wireless winch here, and this came to me on a different rig and it was already painted yellow, so I figured this is a perfect match for this great yellow body. And of course this body has the full LED buckets, and so we're going to make use of that with our Hey-OK Performance light controller. And all of this stuff that I'm talking about right now, I'm going to put the links in the bottom at the video, so you should be able to just click and go and find out all the components we're using. We've also got the Detroit 8-hole Baja wheels here. These are a 1.9 beadlock from GCM Racing. And of course we got the GCM Racing hubs here. There's a whole lot of scale detail ready to go. The tires that we've got on this rig are a 1.7 inch RC 4-Wheel Drive Mickey Thompson Baja Claw. This is a nice soft tire. We're really happy with the foam in it, and when you stretch it over the 1.9 beadlock, you get this great look. So we're really happy with this. It's a Class 1 legal tire, and of course we've got windshield width bumpers front and back. We've got full tire tuck, which is more than enough for the Sorca scale truck class rules for Class 1. And of course there's all kinds of other scale goodness underneath here, so let's have a look. You'll notice right away that there's ground clearance to just all the way to the moon on this thing. So this is the full interior truck. As you can see, there's a complete floor in here, full seats and everything. And we haven't done any body modifications on this at all, with the exception of taking off the plastics for the front and rear bumper that came with the body. And it drops right into the J2 skeleton chassis. So I left all this unpainted on the bottom here. I'm going to paint all this black basically as soon as this video is over, because I want to get that blacked out look underneath. But for now I wanted to leave it yellow to show you the contrast of parts, because it's so much easier to see the difference in the details when you've got this color distinction. So we're using the G-made shafts here. This is the Junfac carbon steel drive shafts. This is the SCX set. So the SCX fits perfectly on this back axle here. We're using a D35 from RC 4-Wheel Drive in the front and the rear. And then that goes onto the GCM transfer case on the Delrin skid, which is part of the J2 combo kit. And you'll notice up front here we've got the axial transmission up on the J2 mount. We'll show you that in a minute. And of course we've got the frame mounted servo up in the front as well, driving an axial link which goes right to the D35. So that the setup was really easy. And of course if you get the J2 Ultimate kit, the links are already included in the Ultimate kit. So you can bolt on your RC four-wheel drive axles and it gets the perfect width for this truck. Full tire tuck. And you'll notice that we've got our battery mounted here in the back. This is a really cute little thing. We'll show you the battery setup there, and it's very well protected by the suspension and the framing and the bumper in the back, so there's no worries about damaging the battery pack, and it's quick and easy to change. So, first thing I want to do is tear off this body and show you what we've got underneath. Now, the body mounting on this was really easy because we put two little holes in the back bumper here, right here at the bottom. And these little holes actually fit right through the factory body hole. And the bumper that came on this body had a screw right there. So we used the exact same spot. And we just stuck an M3 screw right in there. And we put a hole in the bumper to match. So I'm just going to pull these two screws out. Now the reason I don't have any body clips on this is because the battery pack is actually mounted from the bottom. So you don't have to take the body off at all to do a battery change, which means that you know, this would be a perfect rig to use for a G6 or something. I mean, you can really just flip it over, switch your battery, plug it back in and keep trucking. And you don't have to do any body clips or taking anything off. I mean, the battery mount in the back here is two tiny little M3 screws that cover over a Lexan plate. And that's it. You'll also notice I'm taking out the two body mounts in the front here, and these are just the holes that are already in the optional radio tray on the J2. And you've heard me talk about this before in the skeleton build videos. There's two holes in the radio tray that match up exactly to the body posts that are part of the casting for this body. So now we've got those four screws out. And this is as simple as lift and go. So we're going to just take this right off. As you can see, there's the whole thing. And the battery is actually still sitting in the back. So what we did with the battery, we made a little piece of foam that fits in between the two shock towers in the back. It sits right here in between the two shock towers, right on top of the rear axle. And then our battery pack just sits right in there, laying right on the floor of this back seat area. And then we cut a little piece of Lexan that sort of sits in a bit of a U-channel, sort of a bit of a hump. You can see the rise in the hump there. Covers the battery pack. And there's already two body posts on the back of this body that were used for something else at some point. And we just drilled those out for the M3 screws. And then we've got this 2-bolt quick release battery tray. And you can slide the battery right in from the back of the bumper and then just connect that right onto your wiring harness like that. So let's put this aside here for a second and have a look at the running gear. You see where I've got the wire to connect here. This lines up just perfectly with where the battery plug comes out from in between the shock towers. And then we've got the Junfax shafts on here. And we happen to have, sitting around the GCM shop, we had some of these boat drive shaft universals here. And we took some of these boat universals and put a 532 airplane wheel rod in between them two. And we got a center drive shaft. You don't have to do something complicated like this. You can just put an axial plastic shaft on here if you want. Or you can use axial plastic shafts all the way around if you want. And set up your drive line. You'll see here all the electronics of the truck are in the front. This is a running truck. You just have to plug this in and turn the transmitter on and go. And we've got the receiver here, right there along the side, see with the white sticker. And then we've got our axial AE2 speed control, which is basically a sidewinder here, right up beside the motor. The motor is a 35 turn Tekin, and the motor slides up and down this direction, like this. It slides up and down for your spur and pinion alignment. And so if you have your electronics on this side, you don't have to worry about the motor sliding sideways like this because it goes up and down. So we've got what looks like I think it's a 1687 for the gearing here. and we're running a 2-cell battery, so with this size of a tire we get enough wheel speed. I think we shouldn't have a problem on the trail, and great low end control. And the servo, of course, is tucked up here in the front with the radio tray, and you can see the 2 holes here for the body mounting. So that's basically our entire, that's the entire truck build right there. So there's a whole running truck. I mean, in this case we put the switch here mounted in from the bottom. So I drilled a new extra hole through the radio tray at the back, and then I ran the screw in to hold on to the ESC switch. And I've got the Hey OK light controller right here. This is from Hey OK Performance, and it plugs in line with the throttle and to the receiver. And so this thing will control my reverse lights, my stop and forward, and if you plug it into the 3rd channel as well, then you can use the 3rd channel on your remote, or 4th channel, for actually switching on headlights and stuff like that. So the Hey OK light controllers have just got lots and lots of setup options, and we love to use them. We got them on, I would say, almost all the trucks now, and a rally car and everything. So there's lots of options for that for the Hey OK light controller. It's so simple that because the plug-in is actually the same spacing as a servo plug or a balance port plug, and in this case we're just going to, when we do wire the body up for the lights, we're going to use a 6-cell balance port plug and just plug it right on here to this, and he sends all the wiring diagrams, so it's a real easy bolt on, and just plug it into the receiver and go. Now our servo here is a 2-cell compatible servo, and we're running a 2-cell battery out in the back. So what we did is we actually wired in a little harness here that the servo plugs into, and it splits the power away from the receiver. So the 2-cell battery has a little extra loop in this harness right here that drives 2-cell power right to the servo. So the servo is not run through the receiver, and that means that this truck has no beck on it. So why is that a big deal? Well, it's one piece of less electronics. If you can use a 2-cell capable servo, then you can run the 2-cell servo right into your 2-cell battery, and you don't have to have an extra beck in the front here to make sure you got enough horsepower for your servo to steer. So in our case we got, I think it's 340 ounces of power there, and it's lightning fast. In fact, on the radio I actually turned down the speed of the channel 1 so that the servo is not so fast. I'm just scared of something wrecking. And there's the whole truck. You know, this is a really simple setup, and of course we get hard body points on this. When we run this in Class 1, we get transfer case, we get metal bumpers front and back, we get winch, we got servo on the frame points, we've got full 3D interior lights, wipers, mirrors. There's so many accessories on this truck that will actually be used for scale points. And of course there's all this room in the back, so we can put a bunch of scale stuff in the back there too. Our rope and sand ladders and all that stuff can go in the back of the truck. And this is just a really simple little truck that we hope to run in Class 1, just as you see it. Now of course you already know that through the GCM build video series on the skeletons, you know already that we've been working on the Class 2 truck. And the Class 2 truck is right here. We're going to get this thing finished up and finish the tube work up in the front and complete the power system in this. It's just about ready to go, so we're going to end up with a Class 2 rig here. It's a little taller, it's wider, we're using axial axles, and you should see a rig review on that shortly. And hopefully we can get this baby out here for a good ride in the snow. Thanks again for checking out the video. Make sure you like the video so it shows up in the right places for guys that are looking for videos on rig reviews. And subscribe to the channel. We thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to bringing you another rig review from the GCM Build Bench shortly.